Going.
Hello and welcome to the this episode of Is That Canon? We are. It is. We
Mm.
are a podcast where we look at characters and storylines taken from panels on comic books and brought to the silver and gold screens. I'm joined
Mm.
here today by a different cast than usual. We have a special guest. Uh, Brian's in Italy. Uh, is he? He's away in a husky sleigh
Yeah,
trip
I
today.
I try to have this conversation with my community as well. He's gone fancy. That's what I said. There's something about
I'm
sleds. We've
I
seen
love
pictures.
dogs. I'm so jealous.
She's me lights move, Jane.
But we are joined by John Fogarty, Too Old for Gaming. How you doing, John?
I'm not too bad.
Jono.
I'm not too bad. I'm glad to be here and talk a little about nerdy stuff with you.
Oh, you're always
Good to
welcome.
have
I'm
you.
blurring out. Blur. I got censored. Hold on. There we go.
Yeah, we're
Maybe-
also
I thought you were
joined.
going
maybe
for a
we're
high
gonna-
five.
Sorry. I was getting censored. It's getting censored. But go on, John. Go on.
I'm good. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to talk about nerdy stuff with you.
We're also joined by the blurry ghost of Tink, I think.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh,
Focus,
there's
focus.
there's
There
some
we go.
focus. How you doing?
I'm grand. Thank you so much. It's always good to get back and get nerdy with you because I look forward to Wednesdays. Like a lot of stuff that comes out on Wednesdays lately. You know what I mean? So it really fills in me hump week, if you know what I mean. So I can't complain. No, it's been a good week so far. No complaints. It's just don't want to be censored like the camera kept doing there. Everything seems to be working now. But besides that, everything else is tickety boo. No complaints over my side. Just a bit jealous of Brian.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm a dog lover. I think that would be the coolest thing to go on
It'd
like a
be the
husky
fun.
sled.
Listen, like it's like something that I kind of like as a lady. I like fancy things, and I often kind of have these mad dreams. Don't mind my lights. Everything's just gotten dark behind me. Something's looming. Um, the idea of going on a sled ride in the snow and like oh a coffee and maybe a hot chocolate. You know, I could see myself, nice nails. You know, let me just have this Ada, okay? Why does Brian
Yeah.
get to do that? Brian gets to be that beauty queen, sort of a biscuit ear. Unreal. Refunds out here. But yeah, sure. That's why we have
So
John.
yes,
Hey,
John's here to fill in the gap that Brian leaves.
I'll
I
do my
thought we
best.
start. I thought we start off just going. Anybody watch anything this week? Anything good? Anything you can recommend?
Uh,
Um,
I'm looking forward to watching a new documentary, which is completely outside of the realm, but we can kind of still talk about the new Pam and Tommy documentary that came out with our lovely Winter Soldier. Obviously, it's, like I said, it's kind of in there. So I'm looking forward to watching that. But besides, I've been catching up on Peacemaker and everything else in between, and obviously Boba Fett.
I'm
okay.
behind. I originally was going to wait till the end of the season for Boba Fett,
What
and
are you
then I've
doing?
heard that the last two episodes are basically Mandalorian season 3. I'm like, maybe I should go back to start off watching it now.
Oh, like this is why I can't have a nice conversation with you. You do this to me like every time. Every time I'm like, listen, we're gonna do this. You're like, yeah, I haven't like fully watched everything. I just left you to drown in
It
like
always happens.
I don't know,
I s-
Blade 3, and then suddenly I'm like reminiscent.
I've seen Blade 3.
It's similar though because I'm in like my own group chat with my own friends, and the thing I've been watching every week has been Attack on Titan since it's been coming out. It's
Oh
absolutely fantastic at the minute.
yeah,
It's gone haywire, but it's the same because
I
there's some
haven't
people
caught
that
up in
want
a
to.
bit.
Oh, it's I don't even I couldn't even from where the show started, even season two to where it is now. I couldn't even explain how it got there.
Almost
I need to watch it again to explain how we got to where we are. But it's just the same. People are like, "Oh no, I'm waiting for the whole series to come out." On the group chat, where half the group are like, "No, I want to talk about it now," and we don't. You want to be a dickhead and like actually just describe it.
Like yeah, because you're just so passionate. You just
Yeah,
want to share in the
I
moment.
just
I
want
get
to
it.
talk about it.
Just let me live.
Yeah. John mentioned it. He might mention this leading up to this podcast, and I was like, maybe I'll watch a couple episodes of the new season to
See, this is
get
you
caught
get
up.
you get flaky on
And
me, Ado. That's what I
so
have a problem with.
at midnight this night, I put on the first episode of season 4, and I caught up like an hour ago.
I don't blame it. It's so good.
I
That's the
caught
thing.
up
The
an
episodes are
hour
what
ago. He says, "Fucking hell."
Yeah,
20
I
minutes.
finished
Like,
watching it an hour ago.
but now you're living in our world where it's a 20-minute episode, and you're like, when every time it's over, you're like, it's another week.
This
It's
is
another
why
freaking week to wait.
this is why there's some shows I think wait until the end. This is like I suffered through Mandalorian. Every time I was over, I was like, oh, I want more of this right now. That's why I was like, maybe I'll leave Boba Fett to the end.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like
really,
you can't because there's too many spoilers. Like, look at me, for God's sake. I still enjoyed Spider-Man, by the way. I did, by the way. If anyone wanted to ask me how it went,
I think we'll get your wee review of it later on.
we will. We will. It was
Yeah.
emotional. I did cry. I did. Shut up! I have ovaries. Shut up.
Was your cinema empty? Was your cinema empty?
No, it wasn't. There was a couple of kids that started yapping towards the post credits, and I had to be that person. Like I always am in that cinema. You know me, Ado. I can't listen. There's no time for bollocks. I'm watching me stories, right? You shut your feckin' chewing mouth. This fella was trying to explain to this other young fella who that fucking person was, and I would turn around and be like, hey, shh.
Was this the first or second post credit scene? Oh wait, no, sorry.
The second post credit scene is just a trailer.
Just a
Yeah,
trailer.
I was actually getting.
They're
mixed
starting to
up,
do that to us now. They're just dipping trailers. I was like, okay, don't make an effort. I see it.
I
See
hope
you,
that's a
Kevin.
one and done. If they start taking away the post credit scenes and just putting in trailers, I'll be very.
I mean,
upset.
figuratively, they were always a trailer for the next product, but now it's a literal trailer. For
Yeah,
the
I don't
next
want it to
thing
be a
they're trying to
literal
show.
trailer.
Don't do this to me, Kevin.
Yeah,
Don't
'cause
do
the
this.
best, I think the best part of Eternals is the post credit scene.
I like the post credit scene of the little kind of like the mysterious kind of like, oh, what's this gonna lead into? Like they did it twice for a lot of them, and now they're just kind of like spinning the wheels. I was like, what are you doing? You know I need my fix, Daddy. Like, what are you doing? God damn it, Kevin.
I was convinced that Spider-Man's post credit scene was going to be Fantastic Four related, and I was kind of annoyed it wasn't.
Why?
I'm just like, I think that's happening soon in my head. There's been so much talk of John Straczynski being Mr. Fantastic.
I
Yeah,
heard
but
him, and I heard the guy Dennis from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's the other one
yeah, that's what I heard as well. And I was thinking to myself, okay, like maybe they're gonna cast a nobody or a no name, if you will. I don't want to call them a nobody. Do you know what I mean? Like a not known name, to be nice about it, of course. But they did pretty well with fucking a lot of the toss-ups as well. So you gotta know where they're going with this. And to be honest with you, we're seeing a lot of people getting thrown. Like it's getting to the point where I was watching a movie there the other day and I was like, oh God, I didn't realize how many fucking Avengers was in this movie. Had nothing to do with superheroes. Can't even remember I was watching.
There's so many people in the MCU now that you're like, oh my God, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think Fantastic Four is a franchise that historically has suffered to get any traction at all.
I think people are
You kinda need to go-
romanticizing for your man John and his wife Emily. Like,
Yeah.
to be honest with you,
I would-
she
I
did
would
Edge of
love
Tomorrow and she
that.
was very good for that.
Oh,
She
I
was-
think she'd be incredible.
Yeah.
I think I would go definitely those two, and then get the guy from the Shield back as the Thing.
Yeah, why not? He was
Why,
fantastic.
because why not? Like it would be good.
Yeah.
I'd enjoy that whole like Kevin, are you listening to me right now? Kevin? Just
There's
listen to
certain
me.
people from those old movies that were good, and like I'm fine with keeping them around.
I don't think they'll get Chris Evans as that.
Krasinski, I
My-
hope they would.
A
There's
double
so much wasted time on fan art if that's the case.
My
Yeah,
dream
that
is
can't.
that's what Doctor Strange 2 ends up being.
Oh,
I
a
just want
path
Doctor
in
Strange
there.
2 be-
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be
if
mine.
they keep going, if they go to the multiverse, let's just go to all the '90s superhero movies.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes.
Well, we are doing and there's hints of
Yeah.
it.
Kids of the cartoons, yeah, why not? Cartoon verse, and they just have all the cartoon. Like then you could get into the Spider Verse and everything.
Yeah, well, we're
I-
looking for Miles Morales, though, to be fair. A
Yeah.
lot of that's been dropping pretty hard for a live action Miles Morales. I don't know who'd play him, though, to be honest with you. It'd have to be, like, again, like a no-name, a young fella, you know what I mean?
It's so unfortunate that Donald Glover's now old.
Why, would you want him to be Miles Morales?
Oh, I think
Oh,
young, like
Sorry, I
thought-
pictured Danny Glover. I thought you said Danny Glover. So he's been old for a while.
Yeah, he's real. Too old for your shit.
this isn't the first time in like recent that somebody's gotten Danny Glover and Donald Glover mixed up with me.
In
Similar
fairness,
names.
they're quite. Yeah,
too
and I
old for
remember
this
him.
shit.
I remember him going on. He had to explain it on one talk show. He's like, just to let you know, like I'm not related to him. We're just we have the same name, and I was like Scarlett. Like Scarlett for you, man. You haven't really explained that. Jeez. But I hope that we're gonna have some mutants. Because it hints too hard to it, and we gotta see something. You can't just leave me there with the X-Men 97, which I'm not overly complaining. Kevin, I love you. Listen to me. You just hear me out. People are getting older, and possibly we're gonna lose them. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Hugh Jackman deserves an MCU role, even if it's just one.
Just even if he has to walk out and hold Doctor Strange as he's cuffed up to fucking. Yeah, I'm just going with the theories. I'm just going with the tin hat here. Just walks up. He's all in his black and then slightly yellow, but like messed up because it's the future and it's semi-apocalyptic. Professor X sitting there in a chair having a chat about, I don't know, Illuminati. Like, I'm just saying. Tin hats. Theories are flying.
You could have Patrick Stewart. Like, that would be incredible.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Like, we're getting another Picard. Like, I don't know if we're going to get any more after that. Come on now.
I think Patrick Stewart seems up for anything.
Oh
yeah. Like, I know he is, but like...
I saw my favorite video of him recently. He's like a massive Formula 1 fan. And him drinking booze out of a shoe at a Formula 1 event.
Oh, yeah. Shampoo and everything. Yeah, he's a mad fecker. Yeah. Like, that's the way I want to live my life.
Living his best life. Love Patrick Stewart.
Love Patrick Stewart. We love you. But, yeah, I get into the point where it's like, it's so, like, it's getting teased and teased and teased and teased, and I'm like, what if something happens? What am I gonna do? We're gonna have to put up with your man, the new one. What's his face? The Scottish fella, the actor that played Cornelius.
Split.
What's his name?
Yes. I can't think of his name because
James McAvoy.
James McAvoy. There you go.
He wasn't bad.
It wasn't too bad, but like,
it was wild weird seeing him bald at the end of that film, though.
Exactly, that's where I'm going. Like, maybe it might be better.
Uncanny Valley thing to him being bald.
Yeah, it looked like you just want to go up to him and go, rub it.
I thought Fassbender was very good casting for Magneto.
Oh yeah, I can agree with that, hands down.
Yeah,
even for the crap Phoenix one, he was still good and menacing and shit.
That film sucks. That Phoenix movie's so crap.
Oh, it is so bad, but yeah, like it just, if you just took away the bullshit and just kind of left the characters to how both of them were just going through the motions, right? There was a lot of loss, everyone's fucking like reeling through a situation. Just if you took your one Phoenix out of the fucking mix of that whole movie, it would have been a cracker. I'm sorry, but that's my opinion. Anyway.
I think we should move on to we have a couple of news stories to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
I don't know which order you've put them in, Tink. Which one would you like to talk about first?
Well, we're going to be talking about the Eternals one first.
Yes. Eternals hasn't done very well.
Oh my god, let's talk about the box office, history, if you will.
The second lowest box office performance of any Marvel movie,
which is kind of crazy as well.
Yeah.
And what was the other one though?
The worst was The Incredible Hulk they were talking American money here, 134 million.
Yeah.
Which is like €2 or no, I'm kidding, God.
And Eternals has left theaters 164.9 million return in America. It's probably going to it's about a little bit over 400 million all in, and the average Marvel movie makes $1 billion now. It's not a good sign.
No,
certainly isn't.
It didn't get great reviews now, and I know some people like it, some people don't. For me personally, it's kind of like down as kind of like an average. It's kind of in the middle. It's a middle movie for me.
It's such an average movie.
Just for me personally.
It's well, like I said, me and himself were only talking about this recently, and I was giving that example again. That I had the benefit in the cinemas here because we have breaks, we have a pause in between, John, right? Yeah. So it's grand because you can go down and get a glass of wine. Yes, a glass. They treat you like people here, unlike Ireland. Here, have this plastic trough, possibly with other people spit in it. But anyway, it wasn't like that. But when I went in, I had 5 people, maybe 4 or 5 people there, right? It was during lockdown, certain times. So I was like, I'm going to go during the day. It paused at the perfect moment. When it was going through, like Babylon was falling, or no, it wasn't Babylon. It was the Spanish, whatever came in, started fighting and basically killing off everyone else around them. I can't remember the place, but anyway, the historical factor of that, as he said, okay, we're gonna split up. Ajax was like, that's fine, go off, live your lives, we'll talk in a bit, everything will be grand, right? And they paused the movie then, and I had a 10-minute break where I was like, okay, cool, I just soaked in what just happened history-wise. And now I'm going back into the movie, and now it's switching over to where they're coming out in London before they run into like one of the deviants and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed the movie because of the pause. But when we watched it the second time, himself was like, "Oh, I felt like it was just kind of like all over the place because of that jump," and I was like, "But I didn't feel the jump because I had a pause."
That's actually a really good point because I felt the same with, and I know it's what I'm going to talk about is a way longer movie, but the way they cut up the director's cut of Justice League, because it told you when a chapter was over, and I watched it at home. I was on Now TV at the time, so I watched it at home.
Right.
And I actually took breaks when it said chapter 2. It was like intermission. Screen went black, chapter 2. I was like, okay, I've been watching it for an hour, perfect. And I took a break. It took me probably like 8 hours to watch that 4-hour movie because I took long ass breaks. It was like a TV show.
I committed and sat it through, and I was like, this is like a flight that I didn't want to take.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I had a better experience because I did take those breaks. Yeah.
Because you got to move around, you got to change a little bit. So that's what kind of like, it let it settle in of what happened, and then I was able to soak up more, I think. Because it's a lot with these Marvel movies as well, because there's always something happening. But if you don't have a cohesive flow to it, you know, maybe it's necessary to have the breaks, and maybe it should have been a TV series then in that case. I don't know, man, but maybe the numbers don't
Eternals
lie.
definitely felt like a TV series. Eternals felt like a TV series.
Yeah.
Somewhat up that.
It was a really it was a really ambitious movie. I don't think it was marketed very well, and I think it was just a little bit boring and a little bit long.
I think the marketing thing I thought was quite flooded, you know, for like a lot of things that I was seeing or doing, like Facebook, Twitter, obviously people talk about, which is fine. But like on YouTube, obviously the reviews were going mad. Tin had theories, grand. But then it was like the talk shows. Then it was like the news shows. Then it was like the interviews. And then it was like the red carpet stuff or whatever, the Met Galas or whatever. It was so saturated with it, you know, with Eternals this, Eternals that, Eternals this, Eternals that. It was so injected everywhere that I don't know, I just felt exhausted with, like, I just want to see the movie now at this point. You keep telling me loads about it.
And as well, they kept saying, like, I remember the lead up to it and people being like, you've never seen a movie like this. You've never seen a Marvel movie like this. This is such a different thing. And when we watched, it was such a generic Marvel movie, in my opinion. It was like, oh no,
it was a Marvel movie that was shot really nice.
Yeah.
It was really nice to look at in places, and that's the one difference, is they had some real nice cinematography and shots and stuff. But it was very much a Marvel movie.
Yeah, it was very beautifully scenic, beautifully. Yeah, everything was grand, like not in an Irish grand, as in everything was quite like beautifully grand, you know, majestic, even like not even majestic. That's more like running out of field, wouldn't it? Well, it depends on how much you drink to have, but like still, it was all beautiful, and it was all very story driven, beauty aesthetic wise. It was quite nice, even down to like the dagger in the first scene, and then pulling that back to where she's taking a picture of like, oh, they found this dagger that I made like 1,000,000 years ago at this point. Or thousands, whatever way. So yeah, it was. Yeah, I agree with you on that fact, but it's just unfortunate that I feel sad for it because I enjoyed it, and I think it's the fact that I had that break, as well. Yeah, and I know that was quite mixed all over the place. Like I know there's all these fellas and peoples and everything else in between, giving out about like the whole like it was woke and it was this and it was that, and I was sitting there going like, Jesus, give me strength. Like, I thought that really just fatigued me. I was like, I just want to watch the movie for watching a movie, right? Like, it's like, I don't care what the historical, whatever scripture is in that comic. You know what I mean? Like, if they want to twist it, that's their property. But, you know, that's the only thing I hate.
When you said there a second ago where, like, I was already tired of the Eternals before it came out. I think that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I was really tired because I felt bombarded with a lot of promo. Like, I was excited myself. And I was excited to see.
There was a lot of just talking about it. It was a lot of people.
So much talking about it.
Really crappy opinions, just talking about it.
But the weird thing is that we barely heard too much peep before the Spider-Man movie. Like not deep stuff or anything like that. Everything was so tight-lipped. But like with this, everything was talked about. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be I'm this kind of character, or I'm this, and they introduced all the characters instead of like introducing it to us as the story progresses. Like, I didn't know who the fuck Winter Soldier was. I didn't read the comics until he was introduced to me by Natasha Romanoff, who said, "Well, I fought this guy, and I was protecting this client." You know, like that's how I was introduced. I had no idea who they were beforehand, but on talk shows and everything else.
There was a desperate lack of faith in their movie, almost to the way it was marketed.
But yeah, that's why I got kind of like, that's why I got a little bit like, oh, I won't go and see it yet, because it was that kind of motion. Now I have that kind of alertness about me, but with the case of Peacemaker, which we'll totally get into in a bit, that in itself, John Cena is carrying that whole persona on his back. There's no like, there's no. I barely see directors in it, but anyway.
We have James Gunn stories. We're not going to get Peacemaker. We have James Gunn stories to talk about.
Yes.
And I thought this was I kind of thought Peacemaker was it. I thought he'd do the movie, he'll do Peacemaker, and then he'll go back and finish off Guardians. But it looks like James Gunn's staying in the DC universe for a while.
Boo.
I'm pretty happy about
Unbelievable.
it. I'm happy to see James Gunn regardless.
Yeah, he's quoted as saying, "We're working on something else now, another TV show that's connected to the universe. I can't quite say."
Bastard. They can never say anything.
Harley Quinn, husband Mark?
I don't know, man.
I think that's the most likely, but it's not the one I want. I wanted to do a Polka Dot Man show so bad.
Oh my god, could you imagine that?
That'd be a prequel.
I would love to see that, him going through the whole mum situation.
Yeah, you could do a literal like a mental health show about Polka Dot Man, and it would be hilarious.
Yeah, it'd probably be like a real dark comedy twist to it, to like kind of how the Winter Soldier and like, or the TV show that we had for Falcon and Winter Soldier, like do it that kind of way, but a lot of therapy. A lot of therapy, then going outside, then a lot of therapy, then going outside, and then eventually getting locked up for whatever he did. Like, I would love to see that. With the Weasel, or he run.
He ran off into the jungle.
Weasel survived.
I love Weasel. He's so random. But like, that would be my idea, like just to see the growth of the situation, because I'd love to know what happened to his sister. You know?
Yeah.
So like stuff like that would be really cool. Actually, I think I have. Where's my supervillain book? But yeah, I think I have it in my book.
I hope Stallone's available, and they just like there's some King Shark cameos coming. That was
New Dolphins.
When I realized they're going for we'll get Sly Stallone, we'll make him a giant shark. I was like, this is
a grand idea.
This is a great idea. Idris Elba's probably too big.
True.
But they got the what's his face to play him, the guy that's the economist in Peacemaker, to do the full suit.
Yeah. But
I'm
just saying, if they're going to make a spin-off show, they probably can't get Idris Elba in a TV show.
Bet they could convince like The Rock to do it. He looks about the same, right?
The Rock seems really in on Black Adam.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
The Rock is so into being Black Adam.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll find like another wrestler that'll be committed.
Batista hasn't done a DC movie yet.
That's true. It's CM Punk. Get him to be some sort, because I think CM Punk could be a good villain.
But I thought Batista would be retiring for that now.
No, Batista is going to keep acting. He's no interest in wrestling at the moment, but he's going to keep acting.
He's in doing at the moment.
Yeah, CM Punk was actually is in a show called Heels.
Heels.
So
it's then like a wrestling heel.
Yeah, it's about wrestling. It's that guy from Arrow. It's his show. What's his name?
Oh, it's on the tip of me. I don't know. I'll have to Google it now. But anyway, yeah, go on.
Yeah, it's him and CM Punk's as his rival or whatever.
Oh,
so yeah, that's next news story we'll go for, and it's another James Gunn story. Marvel is done with this version of the Guardians of the Galaxy after version 3. Says
who? Says him?
Oh, sorry. Says James Gunn.
You left us all hanging there for a second.
Says.
I actually said he says.
Alright,
Oh yeah,
I
we
heard
didn't.
says as well.
We didn't hear the
Yeah.
he part. You're like says. I'm
No,
like
yeah.
says.
James Gunn is like, he's like, yeah, he heavily implied Guardians isn't going to be done, but this is the end of the Guardians of the Galaxy as we know it in this next movie,
Gun
which
revealed.
I'm really excited for. One of my favorite comics of all time is called Annihilation, and it's basically the Negative Zone, which is like a alternate dimension, dangerous alien place the Fantastic Four discover. They banish a guy called Nihilus to the Negative Zone really early in Marvel Comics. This is like the 60s.
Yeah.
And mid 2000s, this story starts called Annihilation, where at a point at the end of the universe, a portal to the Negative Zone comes out, and out comes Nihilus, leading every evil creature from the Negative Zone, and it was in what was called the Annihilation Wave, and it was just him wiping out the universe.
Nice.
And it was Marvel's first huge like space crossover story, and it had like the Guardians of the Galaxy, and it had the Nova Corps were the main aspects of
Oh,
it.
that'd
And
be
I'm
cool.
like,
Yeah.
if you're gonna like restructure the team, to me that's the story to do. It's one of my favorite comics ever. It also lets you create Nova, because
Yeah.
Nova needs
Yeah.
Nova as a character needs all of the other Novas to die to work. Because
Unfortunately.
how the Nova Corps works is when you join the Nova Corps, you gain access to they have like a shared pool of energy.
Yeah.
So there's millions of them, and every time one of them dies, everybody else gets slightly stronger. Until there's one left, and he has all of the power, and that's how the Annihilation. That's how Annihilation ends.
And Highlander.
That's
Sorry.
what I was actually thinking Highlander. That's
It has a
exactly where my
Highlander
brain was going.
vibe to it.
There could be
So
only one
I
though.
find this story interesting because
One.
I kind of that's a story I would love to see done on the big screen.
But would that
Highlander
not have
could be
anything
that.
to do with Elias though? You
Oh
know,
yeah, it would bring in any character that's in space would be involved in this. We'll bring in this Marvel. We'll bring in whatever the Eternals are doing. If you're going to do Annihilation, you can do a big space crossover. Isn't what's his name, Nick Fury in space?
yeah,
He is.
Isn't that
he is.
He's in space. That's where I want to see a massive space. I love Marvel space stuff's real cool. They have a lot of good space characters.
I want to see a lot more of that. I want to see more that's outside and see what's floating around and see what other characters are going to run into, because I feel like there's going to be a lot more. I don't know how to describe it. More connection, more waves, more threads spinning out from a space side story than relying on Earth, because it feels like we've limited that unless we're going to start going mutants. But we don't know. Kevin.
Well, we all. I feel like mutants aren't far away.
No.
Swear to
I
God.
would be very surprised if we end 2022.
I'm like a
and there
young
hasn't been
one
mutants.
waiting on an Uber takeout. Is it here yet? I see him. I don't see him. Do you see him? I don't see him. It says that he's left. He said he had arrived. That's what it feels like. Kevin.
I definitely feel like we're not getting out of 2022 with a mutant being on the screen in some shape or form.
Because somebody will die if they don't know. I'm kidding. It's just, I'm sorry, it gets violent and passionate. You were warned. It's on the title of the stream. Tin Hat Theories with Tink.
Yeah.
So like,
Actually, I forgot to put this down, but I also wanted to mention that it seems like Moon Knight's a horror show.
yes, I know. I've been diving deep into this. It looks like we're all going to be touching that side of the darkness, and we talked about this when in regards to Blade, didn't I? Tin Hats. Yes, let's go. So it does
I
look like
really
we're going to be
wanted
falling
to-
into the horror realm of every
Yeah.
darkness and a little bit of vampiric.
I hope
Bizarre.
Moon Knight is like Split, but good.
Yeah. From the trailer, could be.
I'm hoping that it doesn't fall into a little bit of a. I say it will go into a little bit of cliche of Indiana Jones, but not in a comic way. So that's why I'm like happy at the fact that it's going to be dark. So we don't see that kind of comedic, where's my satchel? It's a wooden god. No, I don't want that. I don't want to see you running boulders. I want to see, I want to feel just as intense as it feels with you going into that tomb. I want to know what you're like struggling with. I was like, so I can't wait for that. But yes, I told you this. They're all in London, okay? They're all in London. Okay, I know. Yeah? Blade? Yeah? Who else is in London? Who else in London? Who else is in London, Ado?
All the Dark Marvel characters so far.
It's emotional, I know. And it ruins me. I'm sorry. Sorry. Go on. Continue talking. Continue talking. Sorry.
So, we'll talk about the new episode of Peace Walker. First of all, John, give us your summation of what you think so far of Peacemaker.
Peace Walker?
Yeah, I get. Look, there's.
You want to talk Metal Gear Solid? That's fine.
Peace Walker's also very good.
That's on a different podcast, but go on.
Sorry. So just a little context here. Aiden said, could you pop onto the podcast this week? We're down a man. I was like, fine. He's like, you could either watch all of Doom Patrol or you can catch up on the 5 episodes.
You know what? I don't even know why I'm friends with you people anymore. You know what I mean? I don't even know why. Don't.
Think. I am.
You can go yourself.
I am 37. I'm 37 minutes into the first episode of Doom Patrol.
36. You left me on Blade 3. You left me on Blade 3.
I only finished watching Attack on Titan an hour ago.
She had to make a playlist. She had to make a playlist. Do you understand? She had to make a playlist. They couldn't leave the car.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get jellies.
I'm sorry I started all this.
She did not need her hearing for a fight.
But no, go on, John. You go ahead and tell me how you enjoyed Peacemaker. Go on.
Well, I decided to watch Peacemaker instead. I thought it'd be a bit easier.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to watch. Honestly, I actually had to watch the Suicide Squad first because I actually had seen it.
Okay.
So I watched the Suicide Squad first.
Which one?
It was very good.
Which one?
The Suicide Squad.
You have to enunciate. I'm sorry. The.
Suicide
There you
Squad.
go. Okay, just so everyone's clear. Go on.
And I enjoyed it very much. Surprising revelations, as in like Rick Flag, all that. I was like, okay, Peacemaker is really not that good of a person at all.
No. He's misunderstood.
Because then I was like, okay, it's going to be a prequel because obviously Peacemaker got shot in the neck, and then I was like, I watched to the very end. He's not actually dead. Fair enough. That's where they're going. So I pretty much immediately watched the 5 episodes, and I really enjoyed it. I think John Cena. I thought he was funny in the Suicide Squad, but he's on another level.
Yeah, he's the right amount of crazy that I'm like, I wouldn't kick you out of bed for nothing. Like, he's great.
But he surprised me because he was always good at promos and stuff like that in wrestling. Like he had a good voice. He has a good way of talking.
He has a great not air, but like he's such a presence.
He's a fantastic enunciator.
But what I didn't realize he had was such good comedic timing. He's really, really good, and I don't know how much of that is like great direction and like a great writing from like James Gunn.
I think it's just natural charisma for him, to be honest with you. Like he just flows.
People forget John Cena's original wrestling character was like a white rapper that would take the piss out of people and was really funny.
Yeah.
But as well, another character I really liked in the show is actually Vigilante. I think he's really funny. And what Vigilante reminds me of is an earlier
amazing
James Gunn movie, which is Super, where he's basically he goes around killing people for cutting in line and for like
really stupid reasons. Yeah,
he murders them. And I was like, the second I was introduced to Vigilante, I was like, that's Super. He's basically like a kind of a more of a dickhead version of Super.
I forgot Super was a James Gunn movie.
That's
the first thing that came to my head when I was watching it.
It's great.
It's great, man.
Yeah. But I'm loving it. It's very good.
Those Jeffrey Dahmer glasses are absolutely hilarious.
And his dead-eye smile, which is like, oh god, it's terrifying.
Just the prison scene. Just the whole lead up to get into prison.
Yeah.
And the prison scene. Just that.
Just that. Fantastic.
Just dragging, by the way, spoilers. dragging the
Oh, yeah,
bin.
we're going to be
Oh, that
talking
one. Yeah.
in detail about Peacemaker.
So if you're not
It's
caught
been 6
up,
days.
you can
It's been
switch
6
up, but
days.
you can also subscribe. Hit the little bell icon, let you know where we're live next, and then you can rewatch it after when you're caught up. Put a comment below what you thought was amazing, because a lot of it is. But go on, Adam.
That real that destroyed
It's
my
emotional.
train of thought completely.
We were talking about the prison scene
Peacemaker.
and throwing the bin.
Ah, yes.
The bin.
What's your favorite thing a black man has done for American society? But
Oh my
Oh, yeah,
god.
that was great.
It was just the whole like really joyous sit down, like, hey buddy, that fucking like that air, sorry for swearing, but it's emotional as well, because I wasn't expecting how full on, well, first of all, the show has been super full on as well, but also that I was like, I don't know what I was expecting for it not to be full on, but it was just like, it was crazy. It was wonderful. If you haven't seen it, now you need to watch it, because then we can both talk about this. Comments below. But yes,
I think I've said it before. My favorite aspect of that scene is where, he goes and sits down with all the Aryan boys and he says all these things. You're like, oh, they're going to beat the shit out of him. No, they're crap racists. He kills them. He just beats the shit out of them.
Yeah, because he's a trained fucking he kills people for no reason.
And then
You know what I mean?
the cherry on the top is the black it then going, I was the Aryans, that guy did nothing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he started it. Yeah, he started it. It was like fantastic. It was fantastic. It was just the whole like the whole like, oh, you know, if only we could just get rid of his dad. And he's like, I'll be back, and it's just kind of like and the first thing he does is looks around, grabs the bin, and then and I just couldn't figure it out because he's such a good fighter. He was just dragging the bin. I was like, does he not have strength?
Yeah.
Just really well coordinated.
So the newest episode that came out there last Wednesday,
Spoilers.
Oh,
heavy spoilers.
There, everyone's spoiled.
Was really sweet. It was a really nice TV episode.
11th.
Wholesome.
11th,
for a show.
11th Street Gang or whatever.
Yeah, for a show that at multiple parts of that episode had John Cena come around and shotgunning old women in the face.
Oh, that
really
was
wholesome.
actually, I started laughing so hard at that one. I was like, okay, we gotta be cool.
It reminded me of like every time I've seen someone wall hack in a video game. It was that kind of like, it was wonderful. It was like, this is nice. And he's like, through the door, around the corner, through the door. It's like, so lovely.
They hadn't explained already that he had the X-ray vision.
Yes.
But also, I wouldn't have put it past Peacekeeper to just start shooting people. So for a second, I was actually like, he's just shooting people.
So just to give some context to people who want to know what we're talking about, if you're not interested, right? So John Cena's lovely Peacemaker has a variety of different helmets that do a variety of different things. In this case, he was wearing a wonderful helmet where he was tracking down essentially these tiny butterflies that are bored into our skulls, controlling us like puppets. And what he was doing was essentially like every fucking arsehole out there cheating on Call of Duty or whatever, is wall hacking. You're just waiting for the X-ray on. One boom. She didn't even have to pull out her weapon. Like, it was crazy. Like, it was one after another, after another, after another. It was.
I love that. Yeah.
You know you don't shoot them after I've shot them, right?
Yeah, it's just like,
she's like, I know. Just like.
But she came into her own there on the episode, though.
She did, yeah. She came around because I felt like she's a bit lost.
Everyone had a shining moment in that episode. The gorilla was especially fun.
Oh my god, the gorilla. And it was Vigilante who said, like, I've always dreamed of cutting a gorilla in two. And then the Economist does that, and he's like freaking out. It's like, that was my idea. It's like, did you see me? I split a gorilla. I was like, I'm sitting there in the chair going like, oh my god, this is just so wild.
Vigilante is such a believable portrayal of a sociopath.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, like I really like that. It's like, yeah, these sort of people with no emotions can be led to can be useful if you can find ways in which this talent is useful.
Yeah,
it's
depending.
It's as you said earlier, it's the Jeffrey Dahmer glasses, but it's also the cold eyes with the smile.
Yeah,
It's that smile with
The cold eyes with the smile and the hair,
what does it.
the real kind of like the 70s, like
Yeah.
really neatly, like little tiny
Very-
helmet down to the back. Like it was just
unbelievably cast.
yeah, even down to the
unbel-
vest
he
sweater.
looks so
Serial killer, yeah.
believable.
So
But
believable.
also, you believe that he's a guy that understands what's wrong with him, but at the same time,
Doesn't care.
wants to use that to do not
It-
good, but be useful for society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's rational enough, but has lacked the emotions that he could easily take out a child with a 50
Oh, yeah.
caliber
Yeah.
bullet.
Mama bear,
Hey,
baby bear.
hey, big guy, do you want to move over? And he's like, okay. And it's like, kadunk, kadunk, kadunk. He just killed 2 kids. Yeah, there were butterflies in their head, by the way. This is a show. Calm down. It wasn't
Yeah.
actual children, but it was the sheer like he could just disconnect and he'd be like, okay, boom, boom, boom.
He doesn't yet understand what a butterfly even is.
No.
All he knew was that there were targets inside that to be. He thought they were children, vigilante.
Yeah, that's the worst thing about it. You have to kill kids. It's like, okay, doesn't matter what the mission is. He has no idea what's going on. Everybody at that point in the show was like, I still don't know exactly what we're looking for, but as far as we know, they're not like they're aliens. And he was
He's
like,
a
oh,
regular
okay,
Ehrenjäger.
it's crazy. Like,
Killing kids has become a real strong.
No, it's so
aspect
in right
of that
now.
show.
It's
so in.
it's so in.
But,
I meant to ask you, John. What do you think of the intro sequence?
Attack on Titan, or which?
No. Peacemaker.
Sorry. Amazing. I wasn't expecting it, to be honest with you.
I had some tin hat theories around that. Let me just spin around.
Yeah.
Again.
Where people are placed on podiums or where they are on the.
They're being
That they're all
puppeted.
butterflies.
They're all puppeted.
They're butterflies.
They're all puppeted.
Oh.
Because I was watching the dance coordination, all right, and I was watching an interview because me, tin hat theories, could rabbit holes, yourself. But like, if you don't know, John, it's a bit of a weird thing. You should join our group chat. I'm worse. My mutants circling everything. But like during that sequence, I was rewatching a couple of dances, and obviously you have to watch each one because each dance intro is different, and it kind of tells something of the story or what's happening. But I believe it's all to do with like everyone's being puppeted. Nobody knows
Except
who
for
has.
Eagly's free, just like America.
Eagly's free because he's able to make a mistake. Do you understand?
Yeah, they all have the blank butterfly look on their face.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the only thing I was thinking of. Like, nobody's smiling. Everybody's doing their stuff. Everyone looks like they're coordinated by their puppet. And Eagly's the only one that's like, oh, I'm just doing this. I'm like,
What
everyone's...
do you think?
I don't know.
Do you think obviously there's going to be some big revelation, some shenanigans going on because
I kind of
even if you go with Suicide Squad where there was like Project Starfish and the big reveal was this was the
Starro.
Americans, you're covering up our own feck up. This one is like just before freaking judo boy got shot. He's like, the butterflies aren't what you think. They're bang. Then she shot her. I think she knows because remember she's like. Waller said, I need you there. You're my backup plan, but don't tell anyone else, the daughter.
Because
She
she
knows
knows...
something that everyone else doesn't know.
Yeah, because she doesn't know everyone else has been infiltrated by a weird butterfly person like your man Mun, right?
Just. Well, yeah.
Tin hat theories.
And
I
when
don't
you
know.
said, and when you said that, do you know where my brain went? That the
Tell me
only
more.
person, the only person that he was looking at that wasn't her, that wasn't. Remember in the place where he had the helmet on, he was shooting all the people. The only person he was looking at with the X-ray vision that was a part of their team was her, and she had no butterfly. But he didn't look at anyone else on the team. So maybe everyone else bar her do have butterflies in them.
Exactly, and that's why I'm like, listen, that's why probably Kurma and her, that's the only way they can make sure, like, she's probably aware that there's someone else there and there's something's been infiltrated. Maybe she's in cooperation with the good butterfly peoples and that there's, like, a band of, like, bad butterfly peoples, you know, the kind of way?
Maybe that's why John.
Kind of
Cena
like a
didn't kill the
Hydra.
butterfly.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I feel like the tone of this show, the butterflies are going to be some kind of space Nazi.
Yeah, like a part of them.
Yeah, and like I think that's I just feel like it's going to be some racism based thing at the end because I get that feeling for the show in general.
Or
Oh,
something
yeah.
political,
Well,
because the guy that
the
they
White
shot in the
Dragon's gonna
family
get
was
out of
political,
conversation.
right?
Yeah. Or it could be a thing where like there's aliens that are so racist, the clan have to help the black people
I don't
overthrow
get it.
them.
That's
wouldn't do
no,
that.
they wouldn't
No,
do
they would
that.
never do
Jesus,
that.
no,
No.
no, my lord, no, God, no.
But like they
The
showed
madness.
the white dragon will get out at some stage because they showed the costume.
think-
you don't show
I
the
think
costume
he-
without showing him
I-
wearing it at some stage.
I think he's been infiltrated.
Oh,
maybe.
I
possibly,
think
yeah.
he's a butterfly.
Yeah.
I
Because
remember
like
it showed that map. Like most
It
of the
would
world.
explain
are
all. It would
butterflies.
explain his technology,
At the
how
moment.
he's discovered all this technology.
yeah.
Do you remember it showed that map with the red dots of like how much people like
Yeah.
of potentially are butterflies? And it showed like
There's lots
basically
of them.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So
Maybe.
the world is.
But
But
then
they have
again,
their own
it-
shipping thing, like their own
could
way they're
be-
shipping the honey or whatever it is.
It could be a reach, or maybe he's working with them. I don't think so, because then he would have been out of prison and all that other kind of technology shit. But like, maybe. But like, his dad has always been a prick to him, so I don't know how far that would go. I don't know. We'll have to see, because at the end of the day, that guy already has his own storyline, so we can't just like make something up on top of that, or else kill him off. Would be a bit.
I think
weird.
at least one of them. I think at least one of our main cast is secretly a butterfly that we don't know about. At least one.
Yeah.
One of the really interesting things, but there's 3 episodes left. 2 of them are directed by James
Oh.
Gunn. One of them is directed by Brad Anderson. I don't know if you've ever heard of Brad Anderson. Brad Anderson makes thrillers. He made The Machinist and The Call, and I have a feeling the second to last episode
Sure.
might be like a real thrillery episode, and I feel like Tink has something she really wants to say.
I realized something. Everyone needs to keep an eye on what people are eating in Peacemaker, and then who's butterfly.
There you go.
Can
Can
I
the
hear
butterflies
this?
eat normally? I'm not actually sure that's. I don't,
No. You never see your man Monet eat anything with guys. You always see one girl drinking. The other girl that's the door, she always eats something. Her girlfriend eats something as well. The Economist, have you seen him eat something? Vigilante, don't know if he ate something, but I think he's people. I don't know.
Also, number
Because
one,
he kills people.
Did we see Peacemaker eat anything? And number
Yeah,
two,
he was drinking. He was drinking
remember that
eggs and
drink?
stuff.
But,
Yeah.
Oh, the eggs. Sorry, you're right about the eggs. I was
'Cause
thinking
he's a
remember
crap-
He gave
he's-
her that weird other drink that he had. I
Yeah,
thought
because
maybe that would've
he
been
mixed up a
secretly
lot of maybe he can't mix to save his life and he doesn't know how to feed himself. I don't know. Maybe it's because he's John Cena, he can't see him. But yeah, sorry, go on. Anyway, go on, Ado. Sorry, I'm finished my tin hat here, but yeah, that's what I can keep an eye
No,
on.
I think we're done. Yeah, I wanted to. Yeah, what was it? Brad Anderson. Brad Anderson. I don't know if you've ever seen like The Call or The Machinist. He makes like real
yeah.
psychologically
Machinist is great.
She
thrillery
is
movies.
great.
Yeah, so he's directing the second last episode of Peacemaker.
Oh,
So I think it might be like
Ooh.
a really weird, like thrillery episode. It might be like
a gritty.
you could do a horror. You could do a horror episode where there's the butterflies are trying to catch somebody.
Yeah.
And like he'd be a good director for that sort of episode. So I kind of think the second last episode might be like a little bit. It might feel different because James Gunn directs most of the episodes of the series.
Yeah, because like would it have still a little bit of well, it has to have a little bit of comedy in it, but it'll be really fierce, like scary, dark comedy then, or intense. I don't know how that would work out.
Do you think Waller's daughter is going to be a butterfly now, or do you think he's going to capture her and try and be like, listen, this is what we're doing? The butterfly. What I think might happen is that he's going to capture her and be like, kidnap her and be like, listen, you don't understand what's going on. We're actually trying to do something. We're here to help. And he
I
doesn't,
think-
because he's not actually a bad guy. He's not going to immediately try and infect her. He's like,
No,
"Listen,
it's too easy. It's too easy. I think it's going to be a little bit more. I don't know. They have to have something that be greedy for them. They have to be a bit selfish. There's got to be something more for them. There has to be something more for them. Nobody makes a deal with Waller. Like, well, look what she did in Suicide Squad. Fair enough. Like Pete Davis got shot in the face.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'll take it. But like, still, Boomerang Man.
She is the queen of lawful evil.
Yeah. So like, in comparison to that, I doubt like this person is in for a positive gain.
I don't see. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't see.
But I think there's like a
Waller's daughter-
faction of it, maybe within the butterfly people, kind of like how the scroll are, because there's like a good
Yeah.
group of scrolls and then there's a bad group of scrolls, so it could be something like that kind of division. That's my theory, anyway. Dunno.
But the only reason I was saying that I don't. I could be wrong. I just don't see Waller's daughter being either turned into a butterfly immediately or because she's been captured now. So
She's
I don't think
collateral.
she's a butterfly.
She's the main character.
pretty much is. Other than Peacemaker.
She can't be collateral, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna hold on to her, you know what I mean? So
That's
she's
what I
gonna be
mean.
worth something.
But I reckon I can just see it being because they seem to keep some of their thoughts because I just see him being like, listen, I don't want to kill you and I don't need to turn you. I just want to explain to you what the butterflies are doing.
Yeah.
But he needs to keep her out of the way. I could be wrong. That's what I
We'll have to see tomorrow, won't we?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
importantly, what's Peacemaker's pet butterfly going to be to do?
His pet, yeah, that he got high with. Like, and then
maybe he teaches.
that's it.
Maybe he teaches the butterflies the humans are all right.
Or if it flies into Vigilante's head, I'd hate to lose him.
Could do.
Yeah,
I hate to lose him.
I think they
I
should.
swear to God, like if I lose him and his fucking toe, I'm just gonna be so upset. Like it's not even funny. Like I will physically vomit.
There's so many shows I think that
Dunno.
have this bad a problem where they've written the show to kill off a character, and then the character is the actual star of the show, and then they're like, "Oh God, we've killed the good thing out of this show."
Yeah.
Same thing happened with Jessica Jones and David Tennant.
Yeah,
and
people
I
are
don't
saying
want that to
that.
happen again. David Tennant was incredible in that show. He's
He's
the
an
best
incredible
villain Marvel have
actor.
ever used. He is.
Yeah.
But
He's good
like,
in
he
Good
was the
Omens.
best villain that Marvel had at that point, and they
Mm.
killed him off in the first series in a way that he really couldn't be brought back. Good Omens is deadly.
Good. I think we're getting new Good Omens soon. Hopefully, we'll have
We
to
are,
talk about
they're
that some other
filming.
time. But like
It's a great show.
it's a great show if you haven't seen it. It's on Prime from what I remember.
Yeah, it's on Prime.
And it's not a really too slow burner. It has a nice pace to it, to be honest with you. So if you're looking for something a little bit different with like Angels and Devils with a nice kind of British twist to it, go into that. Good Omens,
Yeah,
good.
Terry Pratchett, right? Like
Yeah,
Terry
Terry
Pratchett.
Pratchett.
Terry
Neil
Pratchett.
Gaiman.
Yeah, two really fun actors actually.
Yeah, Michael Sheen's also really, really good.
Yeah.
But like we'll have to see how everything pans out. But more news that's coming out within Marvel with Fantastic Feckin' Four, with what else are we going in? Armor Wars. We already obviously have Don Cheadle's going to be in that lead, and that
we have the.
my theories are well down the road. We're gonna have to go down into that kind of lane of what's up and coming. You know.
But for now, Spider-Man. You finally got to see Spider-Man.
I did.
For those unaware of the saga of Tink and Spider-Man, you had the ticket.
I had the
Spider-Man
ticket.
came out.
It was everybody was happy. It was also we're in the Netherlands, by the way, just so everyone knows. I'm not in Ireland. The lads are in Ireland. I'm representing as an expat here the flag. Obviously in our headquarters, in our other headquarters, our European headquarters here outside Amsterdam, and but yeah, what happened was during the lockdown, because we had non-essential stores are only open till 5 o'clock at one stage. This is just to run up to Christmas. They were only showing the movie once a day. Once, right? So you got to get in at 1 o'clock, or else that's it, right? You got to go tomorrow.
Yeah.
Every single day of the week was booked except for that Sunday, right? So I was like, grand, we'll get in on Sunday, we'll sit in the back seats, whatever we'll do. I need my fix. Kevin. So I went, I did my stream on Game Air. If you don't know Game Air, we all know Game Air. Game Air is a bunch of great lads.
Yeah.
And one of my lovely Dutch friends came in and he was like, did you hear about the new curfew? I'm like, what? Then I got an email from the cinema saying, unfortunately, due to the recent changes in the lockdown, we have cancelled your ticket. I literally died. I literally died for a full month, and thank God I wasn't the only one. Norway had the same problem. And a couple of other places had the same problem. You died. I went through. Listen, John, virtually hold my hand. John, I played all of me Spider-Mans, all of me Miles Morales. Okay, I went through all the thin hat theories. Ado had to put up with it and everything through text. It was awful. They cancelled it on me. And then eventually I got to see it on Sunday. The hand is now released. And now, even though I got spoiled, and we all talked about the spoilers last week or whatever, and I was okay. Like, I was getting to the point where I was like, I know what the crack is. I have a general idea. Yes, we're all going to see the lads. Here comes the boys. Might be emotional. I knew the ending. I knew everything, right? I still wanted to see it. And when I went to go and see it, I have never felt so happy. It was probably, and I have to say, like, there's a lot of that in the reviews out there, but it was it was just as emotionally climbing and roller coaster driven as Endgame.
Oh no, it was a fantastic movie. I actually only saw it last week myself.
And I don't care that I got spoiled. Like, I honestly God don't care that I got spoiled. I'm like, this is the first time ever where I've got spoiled for a whole movie where everything had to go wrong, and I walked out going like, I fucking love this. I have to go and see it again. But yes, I did get to see it.
Yeah. I remember I got spoiled by a couple of bits because I actually went to the hospital the day it came out, and I had a ticket booked, and then had to wait till the next week to go see it. But I got something spoiled. One thing I didn't get spoiled is the meme lines in that movie are so good. And they were the one thing I did not want to mention last week.
Got a pain in my back, you know.
Oh yeah! Oh my God, the memes are so good.
I'm something of a scientist myself. He actually said it.
Yeah.
You're amazing. No, listen. You're amazing. You're amazing. I loved it. It was there was and this was this. Spoilers, by the way. Spoilers.
Oh yeah, spoilers. The spoilers.
Oh, it's been
Spoilers.
2 months.
It's been 2 months. I know lockdown's been heavy on a lot of us, okay? But like this was a lot of this.
Sorry to Norway.
Sorry, Norway.
Sorry, Norway.
I'll probably get a message from Hilders. No, she's over in the USA. She's already seen it. She's fine. She's not coming home yet. But yeah,
they did the pointing. They did
the pointing.
I was coming to the scientist myself. It was my favorite part of the whole film.
So good. And then they were talking.
Dr. Octo Octavius.
Dr. Octo Octavius. No, seriously, what's your name? So good. I like the little sweet parts, you know, when you obviously see it in the trailer, we're up on top of the roof. He's like, I could sit up all day, it's so noisy. But there's a part of that where Ned comes out of nowhere and he's like, Jesus, it's so noisy. And it's just nuts. It's so good. It's like, yeah, fair enough, you're ruining possibly a romantic moment. But yeah, it's true. It is nuts for you, Ned. You're like fucking like, I'm the chair guy. And that was so good. Or the
What did you feel? How did you feel about Andrew Garfield?
Me? Oh, I was a bit emotional. I'm not gonna lie. I honestly did cry because it felt like he did get the redemption he needed. Because I was only watching The Amazing Spider-Man, both of them there not long ago, and especially the part where she dies towards the end, and I felt like it was very unjust. And fair enough, it was fair enough. It's what's it called? Director, is it Webb? His dark kind of side. Gritty side of it, and I can understand that with some of his stuff, but like it was so nice to have that redemption moment. It was a real kind of like like, because it was like, are you gonna catch her? Because it was obviously Tom Holland's job to jump in, and then obviously something happened, and then next thing you know he just bounced in, and it was the fact that he's like, he must have thought about how many ways he could have caught her. That was the first thing I was thinking, where she was like, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm not. Even talking about it now gets me emotional, because he must have thought about it so many different which ways. I know, I get it that like it's a fucking movie and obviously the actor's being told, but like if we were to really play it out, he must have thought about it thousands of times. Like this was the love of his life. Yeah. Like even talking to like even Tom Holland about stuff, or even about the whole Uncle Ben situation or whatever. But it was that kind of like, oh man, I'm so happy that, I know it's not the same, but it is the same. At least you thought about this thousands of times, and now you're here.
Since that happened, you
redeemed it.
100% perfected the technique of catching someone falling.
Exactly. You're not gonna fucking crack girls' skulls open wasted. Yeah. Like it's emotional though. I felt very caught up in it, because it felt like, yes, I'm you. Look at this. Look.
Yeah.
What's happening?
He took his shot.
He took a shot.
As an actor, took his shot,
and he deserves more.
Yeah. Genuinely, like I think his performance in that movie, retroactively makes those two Amazing Spider-Man movies better.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think that I would never say they're very good, but I think that's existing makes them not as bad as the second one.
I can fix Electro. You know what I'm happy to see, right? And Tin Hat Theories. Spoilers. Okay, so we sit there with Jamie Foxx, right? Andrew Garfield, Jamie Foxx, okay, Electro and Spider-Man in this case, right? And he's like, oh, I'm expecting you to be black. Now, I think, and I'm hoping, that we're going to be introducing Miles Morales, okay? Shut up, you, stop laughing at me. I have feelings and ovaries. But anyway, so this is what I think. I'm hoping for, that we're going to get introduced to Miles Morales in some kind of weird way from the new, new Miles Morales animation that we're getting soon. So I'm hoping that will kind of clip into that kind of universe. I'm hoping that we get to see some kind of arc to this. It'd be really cool. I'd
Miles
love to see it.
Morales is in Amazing Spider-Man 3.
What?
What? What'd you say?
You saying you want Miles Morales to be in Amazing Spider-Man 3? Because I'm now working off the presumption they're going to make an Amazing Spider-Man 3.
They are, but there's rumors about it. I've been watching and reading articles about it. Tin hats would be burning, yo.
Yeah.
I've been
Sony-
diving rabbit
Sony-
holes, man.
In the big Sony League a couple of years ago, they were like, we're really open to bringing back Andrew Garfield and Tom Maguire and doing more movies with them.
Yeah.
So I think an Amazing Spider-Man 3 could be cool with Miles Morales with Black Spider-Man.
Yeah, and having because in the video game, if we're gonna go on the arc of that and the storyline for Miles Morales, you see that Peter Parker is now heading off with MJ on a slight vacation. He's gonna take over, but he was obviously introducing him slowly because he comes across Miles Morales in Feast, which everyone knows where Aunt May works, right? And obviously, spoiler alert for Spider-Man. We're not going to talk about that. That's also emotional.
Good game.
But anyway, good game. So with the whole arc of the Miles Morales thing, you're going to see Kingpin in this universe, okay? So that's why I'm kind of like, what if we have Andrew Garfield being this kind of mentor? Because he kind of tried to mentor with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, obviously in this one. But what if we were introducing the same kind of story timeline as what we had in the video game?
Because I don't think...
Or maybe slightly different.
I don't think it's easy to fit Miles Morales into MCU Spider-Man at all. Tom Holland doesn't really, because I think if you're going to put Miles Morales in, it's best when Peter Parker is a bit of a mentor figure for him.
Yeah, that's why I'm Andrew Garfield, maybe.
Still a bit too young.
Yeah, no, but we're talking about multiverse situations here.
Yeah, that's why I mean it would probably fit better in the Andrew Garfield universe.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we're agreeing. Okay, yeah, we're agreeing.
Completely agreed.
Completely agreed. Yeah, because it makes sense where he's trying to mentor someone. He's already had the loss of, well, in this case, it could be Gwen. So, the arc of the story could change that way. You know, his concentration could be a bit harder on that. We're going to see Kingpin more. We could see Charlie Cox back. There could be so many things, even introducing a little bit of, well, we could see Black Cat more into the Tom.
Duncan died.
So... it's these little things that I'm like, they could really go for that if they're going to go for a gritty side of it, especially Danny Glover being the villain as well. Yeah. You know, it would I would think it would make sense, especially if it's a Sony picture as well, tied in with the game.
Sony could really have their cake and eat it if they have one Spider-Man that's in the MCU, one Spider-Man they can do anything they want with. They could do real well that way.
They could do it real well, and especially the fact that they still have the association, which is great that they do still have this with Marvel, that we're able to see small bits of characters being introduced to us. You know, fair enough, we have the Echo series coming out and possibly more Kingpin out of that, along with Hawkeye and so on, right? But if we're getting introduced to where they're conquering the likes of Miles Morales and everything else that's tied into that project, even to that multi-universe there, Kingpin is part of that too a little bit. So I don't know. I think it would be a great idea to have Andrew Garfield be cool, I know you because of Feast, because Aunt May's still alive, you know,
yes.
Let's get you trained up and sorted out, and now you're uncle, and now you got to face this big arc. Fair enough, I played a video game, but I think played out live action, I think it would really kick off really well, and especially the composed music that they had in the game was just amazing. It was really good tunes.
Yeah.
That'd be my tin hat theory. I would like to see that.
So, our next Spider-Man movie is Spider-Verse 2.
Spider-Verse 2.
Anything you want to see in that? I want 94 Spider-Man, the animated version, that in Spider-Verse 2. That, to me, that's still the voice I hear when I read Spider-Man comics.
Damn. That is the voice of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yes.
That could be interesting, because the original freaking, we'll say, Into the Spider-Verse, but all the Spider-Men getting together was that cartoon when you had all the, I don't think the comics as well, but I'd remember from the cartoon back in the 90s where you had
Madam Web, yeah.
series. Yes.
Yeah.
That was awesome. You had the actual Spider-Man, and you had the Doc Ock Spider-Man, and you had, all the different Spider-Man.
Oh, God, it's so good. I like Plenty.
Yeah.
When I saw that they were doing the sequel to X-Men, I was like, why not around Spider-Man? I was like, oh, you could just wait and bring Spider-Man into Spider-Verse and then do the sequel to the old Spider-Man show as well.
Exactly. But like, there's so many possibilities.
It's so cool that they're continuing the 90s X-Men show.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
I still think of it. I was like, that's so cool.
I have this song embedded in my mind for as young as I can remember every Saturday morning. Like, that's the one thing we unfortunately, like, kids will never know, right? And I hope to God, like, I would be able to embed this in my own house. It'll never happen. No one's waking up on a Saturday morning in my house. Like, it's not happening.
Yeah.
But the religious, like, we would stay in bed for, like, feck school, but, like, when it came to, like, your X-Men, your Sharky and George, every Spider-Man, like, Saturday mornings was everything for me. I grew up, I'm quite old, you know, so like I grew up on like all of that, man. It was just Saturday morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, straight on with the telly, sit there in me jammies, wait until me man gets up and maybe fry up. Good times. Make Ireland great again. No, but it's yeah, bleeding big. But the God, it's so good.
People will never understand that for a while Jubilee was an interesting character.
Jubilee was a very interesting, and I remember how she was introduced in the first episode as well. Like, that's how old I am. Gray hairs. But anyway, she was such a teenager, and she was always doing something fucking stupid, and she was useful. She actually had, like, although she's shooting fireworks, it was quite useful. But I liked Rogue in it more.
That show brought a Z-list.
Sugar?
Hey, Sugar Plum.
Jubilee was a Z-list character. Like, Jubilee was a bit of a joke character with, I do sparkles. And that show made her really good. Like, that X-Men character is brilliant.
Yeah, like, and I hope they're gonna obviously put more time into her, because she was so, like, for me, I was looking for that yellow jacket, you know what I mean? I wanted to dress up as Jubilee.
What is Jubilee in 2022 is, like, what is that idea of a character in 2022? I think it's a really interesting idea.
I have a feeling it's gonna look something like Sprite out of Eternals, or a low-key Illusion, you know, like that kind of feel to it. Obviously, she's doing a lot of stuff on a smaller level. But when it comes to the actual
we also don't know if they're doing like a big time skip, because they could be doing a big time skip, and this is the Jubilee that went through the war against the robots back in the day, and it's a bit
so it's a bit like, okay, so that was towards the end of the whole, like, when they were actually finishing up cancelling the seasons of the X-Men and everything like that. Sentinels, right? So it was, from what I remember, was the Sentinels were basically, we time travel. We actually ran across what's his face from Deadpool. Cable, right? Cable was actually in it, so he time traveled back, and he brought in, I think it was Days of Future Past, and he brought in, I can't remember which X-Men, but basically the story goes that the adamantium that Wolverine had, obviously he eventually died from it, which we've seen in Logan. But that was part of what was happening in the future, was the main cause of it, because of the Sentinels, was because they got their hands on the adamantium.
They also had the white adamantium unkillable Sentinel.
Yeah, that's right.
That version of Days of Future Past was deadly.
Oh, it was great. It was really, really good, and it was very like it was the dystopia, like really in the future, like everything is broken down, like mutants are getting hunted like Terminator style. And this was a kids cartoon. It was super dark.
And there was concentration camps.
Yeah, the concentration camps for the mutants and everything. Yeah. And they were talking about like falling in love and a little bit of like, oh, who you should be with and stuff like that. It was crazy. And it was the first couple. Yeah, they addressed a lot of like diverse topics as well. It was quite cool.
More Sherry. Love Gambit.
But yeah, Gambit's great. But yeah, it was. I wonder how it's gonna work now with the reboot. Are they gonna be able to get away with PG rating for this? Because like I said,
this isn't gonna be this is a show for people that were that age.
Good. Because I don't watch.
That's an R-rated.
Is it R-rated? Because if not, I'm not interested.
It might be R-rated, but it's definitely this is made for people our age.
This is going to be a storm. God, how dare you?
So I think with that, we're gonna I'll call it a day.
Okay.
If you want. Well, you know, you can't stay here, you know, but you can also go somewhere else, but you don't have to go home either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you haven't, hit subscribe to that lovely, lovely red thing right there. Go and push
Please
it.
hit the bell.
Push it. I know you
That's
wanna
also
do it.
Always hit the bell.
You won't hit the bells. No bells. Do
You
bells.
can give us a like if you can give us a like if you want. I would say you could dislike us if you do, but really, there's no point.
No pressure.
There's
no
no
pressure.
choice in the matter.
But then
If
again,
you're here right now, give us a like.
please.
Yes,
Subscribe.
please.
There's if you want. No.
I need validation, clearly. But if you have any tin hat theories of your own, I would love to have your tin hat theory. So you're welcome to comment in below. And if you've watched the full clip to the end, the whole thing, the whole shebang, give me a nice emote. Let's throw in an L Shamrock. Come on, Ireland. If you have reached the end of this video. But again, thank you so much for coming back, John, to us. I haven't seen you in ages.
I've been chilling. I haven't been doing anything recently, but I am coming back into the internet world.
Into the
I
realm.
have heard that
Yes.
Tool for Gaming is coming back.
Ooh.
You've heard on the grapevine, have you?
I have heard on the
The
grapevine.
people,
So famous.
That is the occasional message you put into the group chat.
But John, where can we find you if we're gonna find you? Where can we find you? Like, are you?
Well,
Do we find you on the Twitter machines? Are you on the Twitch? Like, where are you hanging?
I've actually made it very easy for everyone. So if you want content, just go to TOOLD for Gaming. That's TOOLD for Gaming, all one word, on Twitch and on YouTube. And if you want my socials, it's the same again. TOOLD for Gaming on Twitter, on Facebook, and I even have a TikTok.
I'm on the Tiki Talkie as well. But my cat's
Yeah, I love
famous.
TikTok. Even just as a
Your
thing
cat's
to
famous.
use.
My
I
cat
love
got
it.
my cat gets more views than me. It's terrible.
That's animals. People
I
love
guess
animals.
people are looking for
Alright.
a different type of pussy.
Hey.
Ew. Ada, where can we find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at AODHAIN616.
616.
That's fine.
And then you can find me, obviously, if you just Google me, Auntie Tinkerbell, wherever you find me, I'm sure I'll be there.
Or just go outside and listen and you'll hear.
Or you can just scream into the universe, and I'll come running.
What is that?
So what? I'm divorced. No, but yeah, well, thank you so much for watching. We look forward to seeing you next week. We're gonna have Brian back. Yes, I'll still be here, but the week after next, I'll be away, so I'll be slipping in someone perfect. We'll see if you're good.
That sounds.
We will talk about Doom Patrol next week.
We will. Will we? Will we?
We will. I've really enjoyed the first 37 minutes.
Brendan Fraser is a fucking saint.
Brendan Fraser's character is instantly interesting. That show does.
Thank
I'm
you.
not joking. It's a really good first episode.
For the first 37 minutes, right?
Yeah,
Right.
it's been so good.
And
I had
trends
to
after
like
that.
literally. I literally paused it because it was like John has joined the chat. I was like, that's why I paused it.
Unreal. Unreal. You
Good
oh,
name,
I got as much Doom Patrol watch as I had time.
I love when you're taking John just throwing him under the bus. He's an innocent in all of this. An
Oh
innocent.
no, it's completely my fault.
Do you see this? Like, thank you.
Attack on Titan, though.
So, John, I'm so
We
glad.
decided I'm gonna watch all of Attack on Titan in a day.
I am glad of two things. One, for John being a witness. And two, thank you for joining us tonight, everyone.
Yes, it's been a pleasure.
A pleasure, exactly.
Always a pleasure. Now to give you some grief while we fade off into the day. Night, everyone.
Shalom.
Slán.